Welcome to Talk Sports, constantly expanding NFL coverage. We're very, very close to the start of the 2025 season. We'll have endless games on TalkSPORT Radio, our YouTube channel at TalkSPORT USA, talksport.com. Very pleased to have Henry Hodgson, NFL UK GM, with us to answer a few questions about the upcoming season. Henry, how's it going?
It's going great. You've caught me at a great time. I'm very excited. We're a week out from kickoff, so yeah, very excited on the eve of the season.
So, Henry, you've been part of this for a while now, and I think it's very interesting. I was speaking with Oliver Luck, who was part of NFL Europe a long time ago, and when I was speaking with Oliver, he mentioned that from his perspective, this has all happened in stages, and his perspective is, hey, we're in stage three right now, and stage four is still to come. But I'd love to give your perspective on how you have seen this grow from initially, just the London games to now we're talking about Brazil, a huge, huge game in Dublin that I don't know if it's humanly possible to get a ticket to right now. Australia is on the horizon. Just the ever growing expansion of the National Football League outside the United States of America. What's it been like to just watch that continue to build year after year to the point that we're at now?
Well, it's funny you should say that you'd been speaking to Oliver because Oliver was my first boss with the NFL. So I think the stages that you talk about actually predate the games just in London, but it was American Bowl preseason games that
Yeah.
were played around the world, and then it was NFL Europe. And the attempt to bring a league to Europe, which Oliver was part of, and I worked with was for him on a long, long, long time ago. Yeah, so the stage that we're at now, to your point, Brian, with an increasing number of games around the world is incredibly exciting. I think it shows the league's ambition to really create this global footprint and to create fans across the world, but also to do it in a really targeted way to identify which are the right markets to go in, where is the opportunity, where's the potential, where's already some fandom that could be
Mhm.
ignited by playing games in those markets. And I think you're beginning to see that pay off. The UK has probably been at the forefront of that. But as we go into every new market we go into, you can see how it ignites excitement and fandom for the sport. And then all of the other opportunities that come with it from media coverage standpoint, from a growth of flag football and other participation, and just an interest in lots of other areas.
When you speak to Premier League fans, or just the general discussion, like they in general are just they would lose their minds if their club played an away game, a regular season game, one of their 38. In the NFL, the fan bases, they don't just accept it. They love it. They love to travel. They highlight it on their schedule. We're seeing that with the Dublin game. Why do you think that works? And obviously, you have a UK perspective, a European perspective, but why do you think that's been able to work for the NFL to where they've almost been ahead of the curve? And hey, we're going to maximize our product in the United States of America, but we're going to expand globally and get our fans to buy into all the positives to having international games.
I think it's worked because I think that the league and the commissioner have done a great job working with ownership of the 32 clubs to show them why this is so valuable, why, America's number one sport needs to export itself to become a bigger sport around the world. And so I think fundamentally it's led by a kind of united front between the 32 owners and the commissioner to say this is how we're going to grow around the world, and an acceptance that there is an upside and an opportunity to grow around the world. And so I think that's really where it's born out of. From a fan perspective, I agree with you. I think that fans have looked at this and said, well, look, if I get a chance to travel to one of these great cities that we're playing games in, to London, to Dublin, to Berlin, to Madrid, and I can do that and follow my favorite team there, then there's got to be an upside. And I think we've definitely seen that the number of fans that want to travel for our games into the UK for the last almost 20 years, but elsewhere as well, it's been pretty consistent that US fans love to travel and watch their teams in a different stadium.
A big part of this expansion has been London. I've been here for 2 years now, and going to Tottenham, going to Wembley, seeing the fan. I mean, I think the vibe out there is incredible. I actually think it's better than a lot of regular season games and a lot of NFL cities. As things move forward and the NFL expands and plays in different cities across the globe, though, how important is London to almost being a second home, using Tottenham, using Wembley, having multiple games in London, and continue to build something that, as you mentioned earlier, goes back to these, the American Bowls and the preseason and the London Monarchs and all these things, because I'm not sure there's another city in the world that has a relationship with the NFL like London does.
No, I would agree. I mean, I think London remains incredibly important when it comes to the games. Obviously, it's the only city outside of the US that actually has a dedicated NFL stadium, and we're really proud of our partnership with Tottenham Hotspur. And I think it would I would argue that it's one of the top five stadiums in the NFL as well. But I agree with you as well that the fans that show up there for our games are create an amazing atmosphere. So I think London remains very important from that standpoint. I think also if you look at the UK and the business that's grown out of the UK as kind of an office outside of the US for the NFL, there are also an awful lot of initiatives that have started in the UK, that have then been rolled out elsewhere and have proven to be very successful in continuing to grow the NFL's international business, whether that's the NFL Academy or the International Player Pathway Program, or a number of other initiatives that have started and kind of been blueprinted in the UK have then been things that we've been able to take elsewhere successfully.
Having seen this go from your perspective, step by step, to add games in Spain, in Germany, Australia's on the horizon. Oliver mentioned, his view of this is going in phases. From your perspective, what would be the next phase? What is the next big leap for the NFL in the international expansion? Whether it's different cities, whether it's there has been the talk of an 18th game, and every team. Roger Goodell's talked about this. Every team maybe playing a home and away game. Where do you think this goes to take the next big leap, from the NFL's perspective internationally?
Yeah, look, I think near to midterm, it is going into more cities around the world, and I think nothing probably more ambitious and more of a statement than to be saying that we're
Mhm.
playing in Australia next year, and I think
Yeah.
that will be incredibly exciting to put a marker down there. But I do think it is, and I know that there's an awful lot of work being done by the team, both in the UK and from New York, to look at what are those other cities that we could be playing in. And as I said earlier, to make sure that it's not playing in a city for the sake of playing a game there, but also to grow the NFL's presence more generally. We don't want to be seen as a traveling circus that shows up and then moves next place. We want to go in and we want to build a business around it. And that business is about participation. It's about growing those media partnerships and everything I said earlier, so that actually you're creating fandom of the sport rather than just the event that you're putting on there.
Henry, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again, and we'll be at Dublin. We'll have everything covered. Talksport.com, Talksport USA, and our social channels. A ton of games on the radio. We really appreciate you taking the time to speak with Talksport.
I'm very happy, and I hope everyone listening enjoys the season.
Thank you, Henry.